Good afternoon, officials, and welcome to another week of training for all of us Wyoming high school football officials and our friends in neighboring states. This is Tyler Spear, coordinator of football officials for the state of Wyoming. And for this week's flavor, I'm going to throw a lot at you. Okay, a number of different clips, a number of different situations, but just too much good stuff not to share. So as we begin, I want to thank the crews that have sent in their film or maybe willing to have a critical eye looked at their film. Not the easiest thing in the world to do. Certainly, as with any of the previous videos, any of the next ones, I'm not looking to single out any singular official or any singular crew. This is just my attempt to create some uniformity in training, create some uniformity in our crews across the state. So appreciation of those crews that sent in film. Some of this I found on my own. And so either way, really grateful for that. Our hope is to get everyone on the same page, get everyone better. So got a few things we're going to look at here. The first thing we're going to start with is an issue directly related to our point of emphasis for the year, and that is on sideline management. So if you look in the bottom left, corner of the screen, you're going to see that we are early on in this contest. In fact, this is the first play from scrimmage in the first quarter. As we get going with this play, you'll see that a swing pass away. But if you look at the official on the top of the screen, as he's doing his crossfield mechanics, he has to walk right in front of coaches, players, etc. And obviously that's not what we're looking for. Again, this is a POE. If I look at this play, I think perhaps there was a talk to. This is a great opportunity for that, and we would encourage a talk to as we get started in this game. So again, look at the chains. They're halfway into the restricted zone because there's no room for them to work the full 2 yards back. That's not okay. That coach is still in the restricted zone. There's no need for that. I'm not advocating that you drop yellow here. I think that there's a lot of pliability that needs to happen. Absolutely, there needs to be a talk to, particularly when it's the first play right out the gate. Now, if we look at the second play from scrimmage, now it comes to this line judge's side, and once again, he goes from working off the field to having to work on the field to get around this coach. We really have got to have more consistency on this. When we talk about consistency, just as I said in the email, this is both week to week as different associations work games, but also within a crew. If in this case the line judge is throwing on this and the head linesman is not, even if the head linesman's side is offending, that is an instant credibility killer for us. And so we've got to be consistent in both of those strands. So in this situation, again, I'm not necessarily advocating for yellow, but absolutely let's be nipping this in the bud if we can. For our next play here, I've got another fun one. What drew my attention on this play actually is this player here. And it's for the comment we had earlier about excuse me, in the email about equipment. Obviously, this bright colored shirt is the first thing that drew my attention. We don't want those, but then again, it happens to be cold in Wyoming. And so if we can prevent it, great. If not, understandable, as long as it doesn't impose or doesn't present a safety issue there. I'm all about being warm, whether it's a player, official, or coach. So not too worried about it, but that's what drew my attention. But what I want to draw your attention to on this play happens to be a little more about this character. So if we let the play go here, have you figured out yet what I'm concerned about? There you can see it. There you can clearly see it, but I'll back it up for you. We have an offensive guard wearing number 33. Obviously, that's an issue. Having been bit by this once myself, we want to make sure, referees, umpires, that we have 5 buffet busters numbered 50 to 79 on 11-man football. You might think it's all well and good until number 33 standing in the end zone for a touchdown, and we don't realize that he's a guard because you know what darned he's wearing 33. So this is something, a great chance to get this is at the beginning of a series. But either way, we got to get this. Now, I will say I do not have full context here. Obviously, budgets are a real thing in Wyoming. Jersey limitations are a real thing in our state. There may have been a talk to about this. I don't know that for sure. And so I'm not going to throw any accusations that way. But obviously, all things considered, having an offensive guard numbered 33 would be something that's frowned upon. And we got to get a flag for that one because that is illegal. For our next play here, we're looking at formation. To lay the groundwork here, you're going to look at the wide receiver number 7 to the bottom of the screen and wide receiver number 4 to the top of the screen. 7, he leans, but we'll leave it at that. But I want you to watch number 4, the wide receiver up here to the top of this screen. So we're obviously something in goal. I'm assuming first and goal from the 9. But watch number 4. He's not quite so very sure what he wants to do. Am I off? Am I on? Am I off? Oh, wait a second. I think I want to be on. And so at this moment, I would mark this player on the line of scrimmage. You can see that his foot, likely his head and shoulders, are through the rear of the tackle or the center. He's on the line of scrimmage. And if you watch, he then goes in motion into the offensive backfield from the line of scrimmage. You couple that with the fact that number 7 here at the bottom likes to be a leaner, and you could have a legal shift. You could also go illegal formation for 5 in the backfield. Any form of an illegal procedure would work here because this is just a foul. And even though the play was broken up, great job by this crew to drop yellow on this for this issue. Absolutely a foul for illegal procedure. I really don't care which bucket of that you put it in. But in this instance, it's pretty clear that 4 did not know where he needed to be. And because of that, he fouled. And so those indicators were there from the get-go. If you got a guy lost, there's a chance that something like that could happen. So good job by this crew to catch that one. For our next play, this is an interesting one because there's some situational pieces here. And so I'm going to just let this go. It's 3rd and 11. Now 4th and 11. They just ran a play. And what I want you to watch is the back judge here. And then I want you to watch the head coach down here at the bottom of the screen. That's this guy in the white hat right here. And so as this play's going, you're going to watch this coach, and he's just a moment. He's looking at the back judge, and he's also going to be looking at, he asked if he's got 1 timeout left. He does. The clock's running. He's now looking to the right side of our screen, which is where the scoreboard is, and then back over to the left side of the screen at our back judge. Situationally, what are we thinking here? He's going to pop his last timeout. It's 4th and 11 in a 1-score game. So this is actually kind of a big deal. And so we know this is coming. Perhaps if we have radios, we can let our crewmates know. But check out what happens when you watch the back judge. There's the 10-second moniker. We have 1 chop and then a flag. And as you can see, this coach instantly is like, wait a second, where's my 5 count? Forget the knucklehead assistant. But where's my 5 count here? And he's clearly looking for this. So we have a number of things here that we need to address. We could have communicated this earlier, both the coach to us as officials, but also official to official to anticipate this is coming. Down and distance, clock status tells us this is coming. But here's the other part of that, and this is a philosophy thing, is in this situation, it's clear he wanted his timeout. It's clear he called it, but we went with the DOG. In this moment, this is very easy for us to fix. And so instead of standing by the DOG, we can instead hop on the stadium mic if we have one. And if we don't, we still do it. And that is say something to the effect of, before the delay of game foul, Lovell has called their 3rd and final timeout of the half. And we grant him the timeout that he wanted. It's not going to bother anything. That is the correct way philosophically to fix this. So instead of having to go with the DOG and we've got special timing because we're under 2 minutes, obviously Lyman's going to make sure the clock remains stopped. But in this instance, he wanted the timeout. Let's make sure and give it to him. Let's communicate better. And we can prevent this on the front end, but certainly we can fix it on the back end. So something to keep in mind there. For our next play, we're going to actually do a number of plays here. So bear with me on these. This first one here, we notice we're in the fourth quarter. Clock's running here. Clock's dead, excuse me. But as we get out here, I'm going to stop it. And it's pretty clear to see what the issue is here. Our line of scrimmage is the 43. We have quads to the top of the screen, and nobody's even close to being on the line of scrimmage. You know, the philosophy we have is always to quote unquote make it legal. But in this situation, that second inside receiver needs to be at least a step or if not 2 steps up for him to be on the line of scrimmage. And so this situation, we have got to have yellow down on a formation foul. You'll also see he's punching. That's a great indicator for both wings. Oh, we're punching. Let's count who we have in the backfield. Obviously, we should have 5 in the backfield on this play. That live ball foul should have had a marker dropped. The second thing that we'll talk about besides the formation here is we'll look at this hit on QB1. Now, to me, this is tough because obviously the player comes in untouched. But if we look at this in slow-mo, he comes in with hands open, he pushes him. And another philosophy here, if we look at it, is the philosophy of gone, step, too much. And so if we run this play in 20 blitzes and he doesn't even get touched, gone, step, we are well within the bounds of a fair contact opportunity there. So in this situation, there is no foul for roughing the passer, but there certainly should have been a foul for illegal formation. If we go to this next play, we've seen that there's been some losses. It's now 3rd and long. Formation looks good. And on this play, got a couple items here, but the first thing we're going to look at is going to be the contact on the passer. Back this up just a little bit so I have my starting point. And again, if we look at the contact on the passer, 47 is untouched. He comes in and it looks vicious, right? It looks vicious. However, it is not our fault if the offensive team doesn't bother to block somebody. What we have to cling to, even when it looks vicious, is what does this play tell us? And so as we look at this, he's unblocked. Gone, step, too much. He hasn't even taken another full step and he's contacting the quarterback. He's in the chest. And so when I look at this, even though it looks vicious, there is not a foul here for roughing the passer. It's not late. It's not dirty. So even though it looks rough, we can't throw on this. Obviously, referees were trying to protect QB1, but in this context, that's going to be a hard one to swallow because it's not roughing the passer. The next thing I want you to look at, and this is more in jest, is let's have a look-see at our wing guy here and just have a little fun because if we can't have fun, we need to quit doing this. And so at the end of this play, whoop, obviously we're working on the field, which we shouldn't be doing. And in an effort to continue our efficiency here, that's one for the highlight reel right there. So whomever this official is, we're all laughing with you, not at you. But let's remember, let's work on the sideline. Honestly, in this play, we should probably be about the 40 with a good look at this drifting. I mean, you're the line judge, so you can drift a little, but let's be at the 40, have a decent look at this. The back judge is obviously there for support altogether, but still a little fun from one of our fellow officials there. And thank God it wasn't me. The last play from this set that I want to show you here, this one is a very interesting one. So obviously, if you haven't figured it out yet, the team in white here is not having what one would call a very decent evening in terms of blocking. And so once again, we're going to look at a hit on the quarterback. But what I want to draw your attention to is the block by number 17 here, the running back. He, again, is going to have a defender come pretty much untouched, and he's going to try and put a block on this. And this is something that we need to see the whole play for. And so here we go. He comes in untouched. We have a grab, a spin, and what a bloody mess. I feel bad for this crew because obviously what do you do in these situations? You just don't know what you can do here other than just try and keep things in front of you. So as we progress here, you can see 17, he's got a hold of that arm of the defender and he turns him. I would absolutely support a flag for offensive holding on this. I also support this crew's decision not to throw offensive holding on this because, let's be honest here, he turns him into the sack. It's a massive loss. The defense is going to decline the penalty anyways and take the result of the play. And so in terms of the flag, I support both a throw and a non-throw. But as you can see, he grabs, he turns, and then the three of them together do this pirouette thing with the quarterback. And that's why I would not support a flag for roughing the passer here, is because in reality, it's just a mess and there's still not that intent. So again, even though it's a toss, it's vicious, 17 is directly the reason why this happened this way. And so for that reason, I would support and recommend a no call for roughing the passer on that. And again, because he's being held, you really can't go even unnecessary roughness. So if any flag were to be thrown here, it would be an OH on number 17. But as it is, you just have one ugly play to officiate. Good job for this crew to just hang in there on this game. So hopefully that makes sense for y'all. Make sure we're seeing the whole thing. Okay, one last play. And I'm going to set the table for this one a little bit before we get started. So why do we walk the field in pregame? We're out there early. Darn it, we're out there after the teams have gone in or what have you. Sure, we're out there early to see snaps, and I would make sure that you're out there early enough to see snaps of both teams. It helps get your eyes right. But we walk the field and we inspect the field for a purpose. And you're going to say, but Tyler, you and you guys, you're working on a field turf field. What is there to inspect? I will show you in just a moment. So regardless of field, whether it's field turf, grass, does not matter. Be sure you're walking the field in the pregame, doing a pregame field inspection. And it's not just for the pylons and the yard markers that nobody needs. You all know how much I want you to just full send that G onto the track. It's not just for that. All it takes, folks, is one hole from a sprinkler head or one exposed drainage grate. Or for those of you that have the memory, you'll remember the Marshall football player a decade or more ago where there was a cart in the end zone and that cart held all the band equipment and they never moved it. The receiver runs through the back of the end zone, crashes into that cart, breaks his leg horrifically, and it ends his career. Absolutely, positively preventable. And frankly, it's a liability issue for us as well. So not to that extreme. You want to make sure you're walking the field, checking that stuff out, making sure if there's things prevented here or preventing things that could be prevented, excuse me. And so the reason that's important in this video is because you're going to see this gator on the right-hand side of your screen come streaking across the field here. This crew during the pregame inspection checked everything out, and all of a sudden they go, wait a second. Hey, Tyler, you need to come check this upright out. And so we head to the east end zone, and lo and behold, this upright is easily crooked by 2 or 3 yards. Unreal. I mean, just shocking. And when we look at this game on paper, we go, you know what? This is a competitive game. This is a competitive game. Perhaps we ought to make sure this is right. Yeah, maybe it doesn't matter. But in that moment, absolutely it does matter, because if a game-winning field goal has to be made on that upright, it better be regulation. And so as you can see here off on the left, you can see the facilities guy literally hanging from the crossbar. We kind of thought he was going to break it. They ended up throwing a toe strap over the top of that crossbar and dragging the upright, the H posts back into place so that they were legal. Kudos to this crew, this administration, for acting quickly to fix such a thing. But ultimately, this could have mattered. And it was caught by a set of wings and a back judge doing a pregame field inspection. So if you're not doing it, I hope you are going to start doing it. And if you are doing that field inspection, kudos to you, because things like this are wholly preventable. And you just were potentially a crew saver and a game saver on that one. So make sure that we're doing those pregame inspections. Okay, officials, I threw a lot at you. Hopefully some of it stuck. Again, my thanks to you for your service to the state of Wyoming, to our schools. I really appreciate your hard work. Again, don't hesitate to reach out with questions, comments, concerns. I want to be that conduit to you. Again, good job to these crews for sending in film and taking care of things. And I wish you the best throughout the rest of the season. This is Tyler Spear, coordinator of football officials, signing off.